Looks like it's about time for us to meet up with Ganyu. Let's head to Eugene Terrace.
There is no escape!
Can't see?
Wind Strider!
Greetings, Traveler and Paimon. What time is it?
Are you okay, Ganyu? You were nodding off there. Didn't you sleep well last night?
I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Let's discuss the matter at hand. Since last time, I've been thinking a lot about the story Paimon told me. In essence, someone rescued a drowning man and performed some music. If that were all there was, but the tune was allegedly so wonderful that the drowning man forgot about everything else, even his own impending death, and only came to his senses after being brought to shore. Perhaps there was an adeptal power at work in that music that he, as a mortal, could not perceive. Or perhaps he sensed a power surrounding. Either way, if this part of the story is true, then the rescuer has to have been an adeptus.
You really think so? But this story is all the way from Fontaine. Isn't this a bit of a long shot? Also, Paimon's really curious about how people from Fontaine think this fairy lady looked. Ooh, like a crystal. Actually, Ganyu, if you had to save a drowning person, how would you go about it?
Huh? Well, once I was sure that they were going to be okay, I'd slip away without a sound.
Got it. So basically, Ganyu's the type of person who...
No, it's not like that. I'm just not very good at explaining things. And I also find it really awkward accepting other people's gratitude.
Well, what if this adeptus in the story had a similar She was probably thinking something...
That, as far as I'm aware, Cloud Retainer isn't the most musically gifted. If we set off now, you'll be able to confirm either way if it's her, and I've been in Lea Harbor for so long now that I'm just not as familiar with the Adepti anymore. If there's...
Sounds great! And we're pretty close with Cloud Retainer by now, so we probably don't need...
I've prepared a gift for her to mark the festival, just in case. Cloud Retainer spends most of her days studying mechanisms in her abode. She's on her own so much of the time that the moment she has someone to chat with, she just... Never mind. I promised I'd help, Traveler. Paimon?
Seems like this is a tough decision for... Paimon gets my... Wait, did she leave us?
follow the wind.
Cheer! 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 Ha!
Paimon's so tired from trying to keep up. Don't either of you need to take any breaks?
I can't believe it. Cloud Retainer is not here.
Huh? Did we miss her?
She doesn't like to travel, so in the past, it's always been the other Adepti who come to visit her during the festivals. True. Now that I think about it, since she's not here, I guess the next step is to check all the other Adepti abodes, one by one.
Uh-oh. Well, got it!
Please go on.
Our goal here is to find the... We can't hear any music right now, but if she's really as nice as the story suggests...
Yes, I think...
So, all we have to do is get the Traveler to pretend you know perfectly well that Paimon can't swim. Paimon would sink like a... Just trust Paimon! The water's pretty deep over there. Help! Help! Someone's drowning! If only there was a kind-hearted Adeptus here to save us! Oh no! Whatever will a Paimon do?
What is going on?
How do you feel right now?
Shenhe! And the Conqueror of Demons.
Why don't you say something? Please don't make Paimon explain it. Okay, fine. Paimon will explain. We're looking for an Adeptus who's good at being a lifeguard and playing. But if the Adepti aren't gonna say huh?
It wasn't me.
Yeah, so this Adeptus is most likely a woman.
And I am not an Adeptus.
No way Paimon would have suggested this idea if she'd known how awkward this was gonna be.
Glad you're okay. As far as I know, the one you seek is no Yaksha. Your actions here caused others a great
As ever, the Conqueror of Demons.
Right. I didn't dare to say a word just now. How's your training?
I had planned to...
Oh, speaking of
Earlier this morning, I noticed she was using an Adeptus art of some kind to protect a mechanism that looked like a boiler.
Please excuse me for a moment.
Sure.
It sounds like Ganyu and Shenhe have...
Yes. During the summer and winter, I continued to train with Master. In the other month, Ganyu arranged accommodations for me in the city, and also recommended several work positions for me. But when I try to blend in by referring to her as Miss Ganyu or Lady Ganyu, like the others, she says I mustn't address her like that. Sometimes I'm supposed to copy other people. Sometimes I'm not. It's a little difficult to keep track of everything. Oh, is that... So, you came looking for Master today because you wanted to ask...
Yep. Oh, speaking of that...
Music?
It's...
Okay, I'm done. I also left her a note so that she knows where to find us. We won't miss her.
Yay!
We were just talking about this thing called music.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the place. I enjoy training here to the sound of music.
Oh no! Paimon's gone deaf! Paimon can't hear anything! Oh, whew.
The faint sound of birdsong, the quiet murmur of the street.
Oh. Okay, fine. It's all Paimon's fault.
Oh. And a melody is?
Hey, why don't you just sing that one melody Shen has heard before? It'll probably help her to understand what we're talking about.
Oh, was that from the...
That was a melody, and melodies can be called music.
It felt like I was... We're all there, raising our glasses as I watched Yunjin's performance. When you hummed that melody just now, feelings from a whole year ago came right back to me.
Wow, Shenhe. Music definitely has the power to bring up memories. It's like, what about you, Ganyu? Are there...
I don't remember if my parents ever sang any lullabies to me. I know some local folk songs. And a few the songs of the sailors down at the docks. The little ditties that the vendors call out in front of their beloved shops. Yes, that's right. In the past, whenever I heard the sound of those tunes, Nenny and Liyue probably view me as a non-human. And they are right, in the sense that I never could connect with humans' artistic expression and their sentiments. So at least that's the view I held in the past. Only more recently did I start to realize that the only barriers are ones that I have erected with my imagination. The way those melodies make me feel isn't all that different from others. Even though we come from different backgrounds and have different stories to tell, in that sense, we're all the same.
You go, Ganyu! You're really making...
Yes, technically speaking, we should refer to each...
Thank you, everyone.
Once the days are warmer, I would like to host you at my home in the city. Please invite Keqing as well. I've planted many types of flowers.
You are too kind. I couldn't possibly.
Nonsense. You are my friend. I have cultivated and cared for the flowers just as you taught me. Once you've seen them for yourself, I am sure you can advise me how to do an even better job next time. I will save some for decoration. We can feast on the rest.
Then, thank you in advance. Wait, what is that saying again?
Do people say that?
It doesn't matter, okay? You got the point across. No need to split hairs. Paimon's more concerned about your idea of a girls' night out. Eating flowers.
Who dares refer to one not by one's adeptest
Master.
Our greetings, Cloud.
Ah! There!
double humph? Now she has the gall to use it rather than she. One has received your message from Ganyu. Well, shall one lead the way?
I still have to complete my training for today, so I will bid farewell to everyone here.
Very well. Await my arrival at one's abode later this night. On this special occasion, you should indulge yourself with some savor.
If you want to release a Shao Lantern, come and find us anytime.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Lantern Rite to you too.
Yeah. Time to go.
Is this? Cloud Retainer, why did you bring us here?
Ganyu is of course familiar with the name Guizhong, but Guizhong is another name of Agentis, the god of dust. She was extroverted in nature and adored social gatherings and inventions alike. Long ago, this region was yet a prosperous assembly. Guizhong often invited her friends to visit her home, reserving for us seats around the largest stone table. Sea Gazer would always bring out his latest treasure and place it upon the table. He could be quite the braggart. Though usually a mild-mannered fellow, when it came to those collectibles he was so fond of, he always loved to show them off.
Paimon remembers that name.
He was an old friend and a former rival. One has many memories of him. Once he had brought out the treasure, it would predictably become the center of attention. Neither Guizhong nor one was content to let him just steal the spotlight. So we would then also present our proudest mechanical creations. As Adepti, we were each gifted in our own ways, and naturally proud of our accomplishments in our respective fields of expertise. As a result, one often quarreled with Sea Gazer. His treasures were not even of his own making. He just used his exploration skills to dig them out of the ground.
Cloud Retainer, you are getting competitive again.
One digresses. Regardless, every time an argument occurred, Guizhong would come over to watch us during our mutual lambastics. On some occasions, she would join in, and on others, she'd take one of us by the limb and start uttering the most—
What kind of nonsense?
No kind of nonsense were we spared. Sometimes she would brazenly opine, why argue between yourselves when— She always sought to make everyone happy. And it also helped that she never referred to one as that illuminated bird or ladybird.
You... Come on, get over yourself!
Anyway, just as our impassioned arguments would reach the apex of acrimony, Marchosius would bring his delectable dishes to the table. Who would dare snub the stove god and his wondrous creations? At the sight of him, we would all immediately drop the argument and prepare the table for a night of feasting and drinking. Back then, one was always bothered by how the cups Rex Lapis brought were always too square for one's taste. Can you see yours? Then you are most tolerant. But that is its own virtue. Even one could never find fault with Marchosius's cooking. As we ate, Guizhong would continue to find topics for conversation. Each of those old fossils had their character flaws and points of obstinacy. So why was it that we would drink together? Streetwood Rambler would often remain to admire the flowers with Guizhong before returning to her own abode.
Streetward Rambler?
That would be Ping. You probably know her as Madam Ping.
Oh, okay. Wait, or are you saying that—
Alas, long has one avoided this place for precisely that reason. The sights here are a reminder of a time long gone, and evoke much sorrow. One should have guessed that you would disrupt one's poignant moment of mourning with your incessant questioning. No matter, one will share the whole story with you now. In times gone by, one quarreled oft with Guizhong concerning mechanical principles. We each had our ideals, and neither would yield. Under the pretext of a social gathering, one invited the impartial Rex Lapis to judge the quality of our creations. But Rex Lapis declared that Guizhong's Obscuro Vulpus mechanism was superior. Though one was too proud to acknowledge it, in one's heart, one knew that Guizhong was indeed the superior talent in the mechanical arts. As for the story between Guizhong and Streetward Rambler, that begins with a certain bell. In Gui Zhang's opinion, while mechanisms were no substitute for human composers, they were yet capable of producing simple but fine melodies. But Streetward Rambler believed music to be an expression of the soul, an emotional enterprise that could never hope to be replicated by machinery. They argued endlessly, until one asked Rex Lapis to intercede. He confiscated the bell and designated it for ceremonial use. Thereafter, one would often find them convening in the mountains, discussing music, mechanics, and all the affairs of the mortal world. But these good times were not to last. War broke out between the gods, and soon engulfed the Guili Plains. Gui Zhang was overpowered by the enemy, and fell in battle. When Streetwood Rambler and I arrived at the scene at long last, all that remained among the ruins was her lifeless body. After this, at Streetwood Rambler's request, Rex Lapis granted her the cleansing bell for safekeeping. To honor our friend's memory, one made a few finishing touches to her ballistic device. Many lantern rites have passed since then. Many greetings and goodbyes. Upon what do you gaze? The Guili Plains?
No. It's everything. We think of human life as like a lantern that's lit one minute and extinguished the next. But are we Adepti so different? Perhaps as dust settles after a storm, we too must one day return to the world below.
One has always been austere and private by nature, and has never relished socializing. One's dealings with Gui Zhang were born out of discussions on the discipline of mechanics.
What? You have loads of friends, and you seem pretty chatty.
Just because one is not ignorant of social graces does not mean one is fond of them. One is perfectly capable of partaking in conversation despite being introverted. But in the end, one is nothing like Streetward Rambler. She is dauntless but thoughtful, not to mention eloquent and wise. Moreover, her friendship with Gui Zhang was far greater than one's own. Back when they were rivals, they would often compete against one another in the realm of musical composition. That cleansing bell was one of Gui Zhang's proudest works, having the ability to both compose and perform.
Wait, that's weird. Didn't Madame Ping say she pestered an old friend for that bell? And she also said something about being a vain beauty when she was young or something.
Streetward Rambler, a vain beauty. My foot. That bell has a sad history. Clearly, she refrained from sharing with you the truth of its origins, since the right time had not yet come. As for her old friend, who else could it be? As soon as Streetward Rambler heard that a certain Zhang Li wished to borrow the bell, she realized that the man was none other than Rex Lapis, and that he had made an enormous decision. After all, we all have known each other for several millennia. Some things between us are implicitly understood.
Whoa! So they were talking and...
Enough of your intrusion. The cleansing bell is powered by a mechanical art, and can be used to great effect as an accompanying instrument. After the passing of its creator, it was used on numerous occasions during rites of parting. But Streetward Rambler did not acquire it from Rex Lapis for the purpose of producing further funerary tunes. No. Each time she rang it, it was to play the tune that Gui Zhang composed on it. The two once clashed over their beliefs about the meaning of music. Who would have thought that with Gui Zhang's passing and Streetward Rambler's mourning, two tunes composed in discord would eventually become one harmonious composition. Once upon a time, Streetwood Rambler also loved gatherings, liquor, and music. But after Guizhong passed, she preferred her own company. She could often be found sitting alone at a mountain summit, contemplating and reminiscing with her zither. The music would go from mournful to soothing to impassioned. Many years passed before she finally composed a melody to her satisfaction. In celebration, she played the tune to the clouds. Regrettably, one has only ever heard her play that tune once. Which brings one back to the matter you've been investigating. Perhaps it was during that performance that the ancestor of your Fontaine friend fell into the water and was saved by Streetwood Rambler.
But if she was so happy with the melody, why would she only play it once?
One was also greatly perplexed by this. After suppressing one's curiosity for a long while, one finally approached her and asked why she would retire the tune after having spent so long on it. In response, she said, "Though the strings that played that melody survive, the one who inspired it is gone. Tell me, Cloud Retainer, when the one attuned to my soul is no longer here, who else could hope to understand this tune?"
Aw, poor Madam Ping.
I just remember being taken care of by you when I was young. Once the Archon War came to an end, I stayed behind in Liyue Harbor to honor my contract. Although I met Guizhong a few times, I never knew anything of this particular story.
Guizhong was quite the visionary, but tragically passed before her time. Her manuscripts still lie unfinished in the realm of clouds. Blank pages give one cause for contemplation on what might have been. Had you not decided to search for that mystery Adeptus, perhaps these stories, too, would have been lost to the sands of time. As of now, you know the truth. Do you intend to discuss this with her?
Do you mean Ping might find the topic too distressing?
Precisely. The passing of our old friend is a heavy topic that both of us are usually careful to avoid.
If I may be so bold,
Oh? How so?
I've been in Liyue Harbor for quite a long time now, but this doesn't bring the city or its people to a stand. Someone as perceptive and wise as Ping will surely have come to understand and embrace this. Though these immortal mountains have lost an Adeptus, the harbor of no loss can ever be undone. But there is always much that can still be gained. Ping has helped countless people, and will guide many others in the years to come. And all to whom though it is heartbreaking to lose a kindred spirit.
We even asked Madam Ping what she thought about adding a music festival to this year's Lantern Rite. When we get back...
You youngsters and your imaginations.
Why don't you come with us? It's been a long time since you last spoke with Ping, and Liyue Harbor is always decorated so beautifully during the festival period.
Is not every Lantern Rite the same in this regard? Were there ever anything new to discuss? One in Ping could meet any day of the year.
I disagree. Each new day and each new year is different from those that have come before. How long will you simply let them pass you by?
The edibles she brought this time were indeed quite delectable. Very well, then one will be off. If the other old fossils have sneaked away into the city to amuse themselves, one shall soon find out.
All right. We should be getting back to the harbor as well. Once the Guili Assembly, now the Guili Plains. Say, if we planted flowers there and cared for them carefully enough...
Allow one to take back one's praise from a moment prior.
What?
One observed that you were making no effort to leave, and returned to chasten and hasten you.
The
wind knows me. Enshroud! Smells like something good is inside. Yeah. Ha! Yeah.
Whoa! Mad.
It appears you made haste after all. One arrived but moments before you.
Oh, bless my soul.
Miss Illuminated Bird.
Said what, precisely?
Cuz you're the one who's known Madam Ping the longest.
Street word. Or rather,
Cloud.
Given that Lantern Rite is almost upon us.
So, this all started because we were trying. Cloud Retainer informed us that the one who played that melody and rescued the drowning.
Let me think. Yes, I do believe I recall that encounter. What a long time ago that was. I'm surprised that you still remember it. Even more astonishing, perhaps, is the fact that this story has survived this long at all, when mortal lives are so very brief. It appears that she has proven herself right once again.
Who's...
We like to call her Guizhong. From the look in Cloud Retainer's eyes, I sense that she has already told you all about her.
Albeit reluctantly, one might add.
There is no harm done. After all, Lantern Rite's very purpose is to although Guizhong did not live to see the splendid sights of today, she was as much a hero as any other.
So how has she proven herself right again exactly?
Once upon a time, she said to me that humans were a weak form of life that she wished to protect with her wisdom. But as she interacted more and more with them, her opinions on them began to change. She marveled at the beautiful complexity of their spirits, the sheer splendor of all they could accomplish through their hard work and intelligence. She told us that to underestimate human potential would be to make a grave mistake. With the smallest amount of guidance, enormous power can be unleashed in them. And a human who has reached their full potential may well be her equal. Someone who could have as much to teach an adeptus as to learn from them.
She always had a way with words. That her mechanical accomplishments were judged superior to one's own was, one suspects, in large part due to her sheer eloquence.
Speaking of mechanics, Cloud Retainer, do you still remember that potted plant mechanism? The one that the two of you gave me as a gift?
Of course. Guizhong and one both put an immense amount of effort into that gift. It would be no overstatement to call it a testament to each of our individual technical genius.
As Guizhong once said, it takes every blade of grass and every flower to make a homeland. When I see the sight of Liyue Harbor before us today, I am reminded of this.
Madam Ping looks very emotional right now.
Of all of us, it was Guizhong who was the fondest of these grand and exciting occasions. If she were still with us, I'm quite sure she would still be trying to best Cloud Retainer's finest works at every opportunity.
Liyue Harbor is always filled with the sound of music at this time of the year. If she were here, one is certain that she would seek you out to discuss and debate the virtues of various melodies.
Oh yeah, music! We've been dying to ask. What was the melody that you played back then? Oh, also, with you being such a music expert and all, why don't you join the concert as a performer?
I can make arrangements right away.
Oh, as much as I don't wish to, it's been a long time since I played this zither. And whenever I play that tune, it always reminds me of her. There was a period of time whenever I started strumming, it almost felt like she was back again. Sitting right there on the stone stool next to me, chatting away. Skybracer and Seagazer too, looking just like they did in the old days, no matter how much time goes by. The moment that melody starts playing, it transports me right back to that time in my memory.
So the past still weighs heavily on your heart?
Well, I would be lying to myself if I claimed to have completely moved on. But that is not to say that grief doesn't get easier with time. Despite the sadness, I have found many things that bring me joy in life. It is simply the nature of the world in which we live that even if one wished to mourn for an eternity, it would be a nigh impossible feat. Just look at this potted plant. Isn't it stunning?
It takes an honest and open mind to confront and conquer grief. You have indeed made progress.
Be that as it may, I shall leave the lantern rite stage to the youth of today.
Well, if you're sure.
Granny! Whoa, what's everyone doing here? Did something bad happen?
Ah, and now we've spooked Yanfei. No, everyone's just here to give me their regards for the holiday.
Oh, that's wonderful, I'm glad. Well, in that case, happy Lantern Rite, everyone.
Happy Lantern Rite. Oh, I will leave Mr. Dvorak in your capable hands. Cloud Retainer, Ping, we will be off for now.
Huh? Does it have to be right now? Which case is this again? Hey, Ganyu!
It seems Ganyu still has much to learn when it comes to the art of deception.
What a pity. She has learned nothing of one's ability to carry a conversation.
Since it's been so long, Cloud Retainer, why don't you stay? I'll make a cup of tea and we can chat a while.
Gladly. This was one's intention as well.
When you next see the Fontaine musician, please give him my regards. I'd like to wish him the very best with the concert.
You got it, Madam Ping.
Thank you all. I think you've listened to enough of my nattering for one day. As for that melody, I will play it for you all another time. Goodness knows I need to practice it first.
Wow, that'd be great. We'll look forward to it.
When that time comes, wherever her spirit may be among the countless grains of sand and specks of dust between the harbor and the mountains, perhaps she will look at the Liyue of today and steal a smile when she sees the prosperous land that it has become.
All right, let's go tell Mr. Dvorak the news.
Ping, what say you to convening more often in the future?
That would be quite wonderful. But I must say, after all this time, I've grown quite accustomed to the harbor. When we are to meet, I shall have to trouble you to make the journey to the city.
You sound just like Shenhe. The child is constantly telling one all sorts of stories from the city, as if one was partial to them.
Have you ever considered moving to the city, Cloud Retainer? There are plenty of people here to talk to. I think you would find it quite the antidote to the monotony of solitude. And if you looked around, I suspect you would find some young minds with an interest in the mechanical arts. Some of them even worth training.
We shall see.
Mr. Dvorak! Ah, and Kuchin's here too!
Welcome back. Did everything go well?
Really, really well. We found the person Mr. Dvorak...
Are you serious? I see. So the melody my ancestor heard was an adeptus remembering her late friend? That certainly explains why it was such a powerful and poignant tune.
Huh. That's a really interesting first reaction.
I have to say, though, it's hard to believe that the fairy from the tale is now an elderly granny.
Oh, Paimon knows exactly what you mean. Normally, Adepti don't age at all. But Streetward Rambler, or Madam Ping as we know her, probably only became old because it's what she wanted for herself.
Madame Ping possesses vast knowledge and great wisdom. Whatever physical form she may decide to take, her mind and wits are as sharp as they come.
Yep, Kuching summed it up perfectly.
I think... that can wait until after the concert, though.
Speaking of, Madam Ping wishes you all the best at the music festival. Paimon has a sneaking suspicion that she'll stay in her usual spot, but listen to the performances from afar.
Wait, are you... Oh no, now I'm starting to get nervous. Okay. Nope, another rehearsal's in order. Please excuse me, everyone.
Mr. Dvorak? He's already gone. Before we set off on our search with Ganyu, he asked us about what music...
Please, share your insights with me.
Music is like a kind of memory written in people's hearts. It can put you in touch...
It sounds like you had an eventful trip.
Wait, does that mean you're gonna carry on working?
Mm-hmm. Just a few things to wrap up. All the groundwork is done. As long as everyone enjoys the festival activities, all our efforts are worthwhile. Happy Lantern Rite to you as well.
Paimon feels like... shoot! Latent... Wait, no. Anyway, Zhang-Li said he wasn't in a hurry. Anyway...
Time to go.
All right, let's take a break.
Oh wow, look who it is! Are you... So you're just casually practicing your rapping skills at the entrance to your funeral parlor? In broad daylight? Okay.
After everything we've been through, we have all this open...
Invisible...
Gotta say, it took me...
Xinyan was pretty spooked too when she first got here. Just like when she sees a frog, but a giant frog.
Come on, knock it off.
What's wrong? I've never seen someone look so confused before. With my words, Xinyan's courts and Yunjin as our mentor, we'll take the stage by storm with... For sure! The whole...
No, don't you worry about that.
Huh. Guess we'll just have to trust... Oh, Zhongli. He took one of those fancy meal boxes and set off for the mountain. It's a real pity that he couldn't be around for this. As well as being a true connoisseur of traditional art forms, he's able to appreciate Xinyan's performances too.
Yeah, that's right. Matter of fact, he was the one who first invited me to perform here. To tell the truth, though, I never thought I'd really find myself rehearsing here one day.
Well, now you know. The Wangsheng Funeral Parlor... I can speak to that. Hu Tao is always full of fun surprises.
And jump scares.
Actually, Xinyan, I have some lyric ideas for your part. Do you want to go through them together?
Sure thing. I'm all in.
Oh, Traveler in Paimon. I believe Zhongli was heading to Mount Hulao, so make sure you're hiking up the right hill. When you see Zhongli, please pass on this message to him. It's up to him whether he wants to support us at the performance tonight, but I expect him to make time for the upcoming banquet we're planning. No excuses. You should join us too. It'll be a riot. Okay, everyone. I think that's a long enough break. Let's take it from the top, shall we? Ms. Eunice, such a strict mentor. These breaks aren't even long enough to have a sip of tea. Well, you were desperate to get involved, and this is what it takes. If I gave you half the chance, you'd be sipping tea till nightfall.
Hey, how about I treat us all to some late-night snacks once we're done? Hu Tao, what you craving?
How about some stir...
Where are we gonna find crab roe tofu so late at night?
We could always just go pester Masterful Chef Zhongling. Now I'm hungry. All right, let's knock this out and then go grab some food.
One with nature.
Paimon sees them! It's illuminated deer!
A familiar.
Everything's great! But you know, if you're so curious, you can always go and check it.
In fact, Mooncarver has been taking many walks on Mount Tianheng and
Zhongli! Here you are!
impeccable. Traditionally, bamboo shoot soup ought to be slow-cooked for many hours on low heat. Using Adeptus arts to hasten the process is something of a shortcut.
Wait, that mechanism... Is that...
Indeed. Cloud Retainer kindly lent me her supreme cuisine machine.
Can we not just call it a cooking machine? She seems to take a lot of pride in her mechanical gizmos, so it's probably best if Paimon doesn't go changing the name willy-nilly.
I trust that you found the answers you were seeking. Excellent. The past should be remembered, but not overly dwelt upon. Our journey should be seen as a means to take on more from the world around us. When the bamboo shoot soup is ready, I must insist that you...
Oh, Zhongli! She said it's a... When she says performance, she must mean the lantern, right? As for the banquet,
As you can see, I have a prior engagement with two Adepti friends. As for the banquet, since the director insists, far be it from a mere consultant like myself to refuse.
Yay! Then we'll see you there?
Absolutely.
Rex Lapis, the bamboo shoot soup is ready.
Thank you. The appearance is exquisite. And the aroma, since you came all this way, you should not leave empty-handed. Please, take some soup. I intend to reminisce with my old friends for a while longer. You ought to get back to Liyue Harbor.